So I will start the session, and I will share. I shared the screen. I think you can see the screen, and I don't use the presentation mode because time to time I want to write or type the required information on the slide. So I will use this mode, and then today we will move to data analysis part, but not analyzing data, the way you want to analyze data, and specifically you have to have idea about SPSS, because if you want to complete your research by using quantitative method, definitely you have to analyze your data. For analyze data, we can use simply Excel sheet, but remember Excel sheet is not sufficient for your research. So definitely you have to go to you have to use little bit advanced software. Then basically researchers use SPSS because it's little bit easier than other softwares available for statistical analysis, right? So you can check, I think, several videos in YouTube regarding SPSS, and in addition to that, if you want, you can ask from an analysis statistician. So now here simply I explain the usage of SPSS for data analyzing part, right? So you have to use different type of measures. You already studied under statistics. I think you already covered mathematics and statistics under your professional examinations. So in under statistics, we discuss several measures. So when you analyze data, you have to use those statistical measures to interpret the results. So that's the purpose of today's session. Then data analysis. Then here we have 26 slides. Then I will discuss them now. This presentation purely for your end examination. But in addition to that, you have to have kind of a practice for SPSS later to complete your data analysis chapter. It is basically 4th chapter. So for that, you need kind of a, background knowledge about SPSS, how do you use SPS, handling SPS, etc. But remember, this session basically we target your end examination for research methodology. Therefore, you have to study the things including this presentation, right? In addition to that, if I have additional time, then I thought to discuss at least few topics you uploaded in your classroom. Then remember, we have discussed with each and I have to discuss with each and every student regarding their research title. So I think next week, if I try my level best to arrange additional let's say Zoom session after 8 o'clock to discuss research topic of each and every student separately, because we can't discuss them within this 2 hours session. This is basically target this purpose of this section actually to complete research methodology course and cover your end exam. So in addition to that, you have developed proposal. That is actually assessment part. So for that, actually, we have to select a topic and you have to write the proposal. So therefore, I want to discuss your research topic with each and every student, right? Simply, I check your answers. You already uploaded, I think, I think I gave an exercise and you already uploaded your answers. So we'll see whether we have enough time to discuss at least 2-3 topics uploaded by students, right? Okay. So we will move to data analysis part, lesson 5. So simply, I think all of you heard about SPSS. It is kind of a statistical package, highly used for social sciences. That's why we use a statistical package for the social sciences. That's the idea of SPSS abbreviation. This is a statistical software basically used by social sciences. social sciences researchers, right? And then SPSS is a software package using for statistical analysis, including data processing. It means data entry and data editing, data manipulation, data merging, that's the idea, and data display in terms of tables and graphs. Now remember, by using SPSS, you can, basically we enter data, and then we can edit them, and then you can merge all those data. And remember, you can you can analyze them automatically, by giving commands, and then you can identify, or you can directly collect different type of tables and graphical presentations for various measures, right? So that's the simple idea behind SPSS. I think all of you know about that. Then if you are familiar with SPSS program, you can recognize three type of views, or let's say three type of disclosures there. Simply, you can identify data you entered for the analytical purpose, and then you can easily identify what are the type of variables you used for your study. And finally, the output viewer. Now, output viewer means, as I mentioned earlier, as tables or as graphical presentations, you can identify the output of your data analysis through SPSS. And then here explain data view mode, data variable view mode, and output viewer. Now, data view, each column contains the data of each variable, while each row contains the data of each case, right? So that's how we do it. It's similar to Excel, right? Then I think in my SPS not working because we want to get the permission from the registration. We want to update renewal, but I didn't do that. So therefore, SPS is not working, I think. Yes. Yes. So right. So basically you have to download the particular software, but when you download the particular software, there are two versions. Temporary, you can ask trial version for normally for a month period, of 4 month or 3 month period. And if you want original version, then definitely you have to pay an amount. That's the problem. But remember, basically in major computer centers, they have SPSS. So you have to find a particular place to complete your analytical part by using SPSS, right? So this is little bit similar to Excel sheet. Now, I think you are common with Excel sheet. There you can identify large number of columns, right? Then you can enter your data. Show Excel sheet. Now remember, the SPSS also a little bit similar to this sheet, right? I think you are familiar with Excel. So each and every column can use to enter each and every type of variable. Now let's say first variable can enter here. Now let's say you are going to analyze the impact of labor performance, or impact of efficiency on performance. So you have to identify various measures for efficiency, and then let's say first factor, efficiency factor, can insert under this column. Then here you have to identify, let's say SMEs, your unit of analysis now SMEs, then SME number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, likewise you can identify number of SMEs, and their first item, efficiency item, can record here. I mean, numerically, right? That's the thing. Then you have to identify all those things numerically. Somehow you have to convert your variables into codes or numerical values, and then only you can enter. Now, let's say you want to identify the for your analysis part, you want to analyze their male female, right? So then simply gender. So first column you can enter gender. There you can use, for male you can use number 1, for male female you can use number 2. Likewise you can enter. If the respondent female, you have to put 2. If the respondent male, you have to put 1. Likewise, you can enter. Now, this is what actually it mentioned. Then this is similar to what you call Excel. So data view means this, right? Each column contains data of each variable, while each row contains the data of each case. Now, that's what I explained. So similar to this one, then each column, each row indicate, now this is let's say SME1, SME2, SME3, SME4. Likewise you can indicate each and every SME, right? If you consider 20 SMEs or entrepreneurs, then there you can indicate their gender and whether they are male or female, right? Then you have to correctly define 1 and 2. 1 means, let's say, male, and 2 means female. So likewise, you can do it, right? So that's how you want to enter data. Then data view is there. Variable viewer, there are 11 columns. Each column contains each characteristics, name, type, with decimal, label, value, missing columns, etc. Now these are actually variable views. Then when you analyze variable the data, you can identify them, right? But now I don't have SPSS in my laptop. So, but the thing is, this is not, SPSS lesson. Simply, I want to explain the usefulness of SPSS for analyzing your data. So, therefore, I don't discuss, SPSS here. Somehow, after entering your data and after analyzing your data, you can identify output of your analysis part. So, therefore, we have separate section called output viewer. Output include normally tables and graphical presentation. Now we know that result of any type of analysis can present as a table or as a graphical presentation. Let's say now simply here the gender, then for you have 10 observations, right? So likewise you have 10 entrepreneurs. Then you can calculate average by considering this column. Then we can use a kind of a statistical formula or measure, and then you can calculate average female and average male, right? Now here it's very easy because we have only 10. Now if you consider 300 entrepreneurs, then it's difficult to identify percentage female and percentage male. But if you have SPSS software, easily you can identify the percentage male and percentage female. And in addition to that, you can directly collect graphical presentation as well as table. Now, graphical presentation, if you want a pie chart, then there you can easily identify the male-female distribution of your sample. So that's how you want to do it, right? So therefore, output viewer very important for you when you analyze your data, right? Right. Now, by using SPSS, we can complete 2 main type of analysis, right? Basically, frequency distribution is there, right? Now, calculate frequency and central tendency using SPSS. Now, here actually mentioned the way you want to do it. If you have SPSS, then this is actually steps you want to follow, but don't worry about that, right? Now, the thing is, simply you can calculate these things. If you have SPSS package, then they are normally considered central tendency, central tendency කොහොමද අපි calculate කරන්න කියලා මේවත් අහලා ඇති. I think you have the idea about mean value, maximum value, minimum value of your data set, and the variance. The variance means the dispersion from middle value to maximum and minimum. So that's how we identified. I think you already calculate mean value, standard deviation, variance, minimum value, maximum value under your statistics, isn't it? SD means it's a standard deviation. You have the idea about these terms when you study statistics. I think you calculated these measures, isn't it? ඔගොල්ලෝ මේවා calculations කරලා තියෙනවද මේවා under your statistics lesson? Hello?
Yes, we have.
Yeah. Now, how do you calculate standard deviation? I mean, under statistics. Mean, I think you have the idea about mean value. Mode value means maximum, large number. If large number of, let's say, male available, then mean value, actually mean mode value can probably male mode, the highest observation, right? So mean value, so normally we can calculate mean value by using simple average method or weighted average method. How do you calculate now variance? There's a mechanism, but how do you calculate standard deviation by using variance? What is the relationship between variance and standard deviation? Yes, please. Now variance, dispersion from central, let's say, value or mean value. Variance, if you have variance, then simply you want to consider square root of variance to determine standard deviation. So that's how you calculate standard deviation by using variance, right? Then square root of variance is the standard deviation. Then likewise, these measures are termed as central tendency measures, right? I think you already studied them under statistics, so therefore I don't explain them each and every term, right? Central tendency measures by using SPSS. Then quickly you can calculate mean value of your data set, the standard deviation of your data set, variance of your data set, maximum and minimum values of your data set by using SPSS. That's the idea behind this two PowerPoint presentation. But remember, you can't calculate these things manually. If you have large number of observations, let's say you are sample 450 entrepreneurs, then 450 entrepreneurs means very difficult to even calculate mean value. Therefore, you definitely have to use particular software. Then normally we use SPSS because this is called Statistical Package for Social Sciences Data Analytical component, right? Therefore, definitely you have to use SPSS for your analysis because normally management stream also highly linked with social sciences activities. So therefore, you have to use this SPSS for this. So then the dispersion. Next one is the dispersion. Dispersion, as I mentioned earlier, dispersion refers to the way values are spread around the central tendency. As I mentioned earlier, mean value is there, then you can identify minimum and maximum value as well as mean value. Then through variance and standard deviation, we calculate the spread around the central tendency. Now, let's say the mean value is 4.61. This is actually average value of this 366 sample. Then standard deviation means 0.735. It means 4.61. Then easily you can calculate maximum value by adding 0.735. And the minimum value is, let's say, 4.61 minus 0.735. That's the simple idea behind standard deviation. The way variate when the then mean value can calculate simply, let's say, simple average value. Then simple average value, let's say 4.61, but maximum variation again up to let's say මෙතන එතකොට එනවා මේ ටික එකතු කරාම 543 5.3 approximately 5.3 maximum value 5.3 and minimum value 3 around 3 point something, right? So that's the simple idea. Then this is called central, I mean these are called central, not central tendency, these are called dispersion, the way we calculate measure dispersion, right? Then the common measure of dispersion is the standard deviation. As I mentioned earlier, standard deviation, to calculate standard deviation, you want to calculate variance එක කොච්චරද කියලා. Then the square root of the variance is the standard deviation. So these are called, this is called dispersion measure, right? So I think you have the idea about this one. Dispersion refers to the way values are spread around the central tendency, how widely the values are clustered around the mean value. The mean value එක වටේට කොච්චරක් මේක cluster වෙලා තියෙනවද නැත්නම් spread වෙලා තියෙනවද, right? So that's the idea. So then if you have the SPS, you can try it. Now this is the way you want to do it. Mean value by analysis, descriptive statistic, descriptive variable. Now the thing is, I inform Chanaka, then if he will try his level best to identify YouTube video, so easily you can understand the way you want to do this. And if you have SPS package, now simply you can use this what you call commands, and then you can calculate it, right? Then easily you can identify this type of table. So that's the dispersion table, right? Then in addition to that, by using SPSS, we can analyze, we can use bivariate analysis. Now, bivariate analysis examines how two variables are related to each other. Now, remember, as I mentioned earlier, you have to select a topic with at least two variables. I think I mentioned it, right? When you develop your research type topic, you want to identify two variables. That's actually the suitable topic for undergraduate, two variable, right? So that's the normal situation. But remember, there are, one variable topics available, two or more variable topics available. They are called multivariable topics, right? I already explained them and I think second or third lesson. So, and at the third session, I mentioned that you better to select two variables. Now, if you have two variables, then bivariable means two, right? Two variables by variable, right? Then you are going to analyze, or you are going to check whether there's a relationship between two variables. Let's say your research topic, impact of employee motivation on business performance, right? So here you can identify two variables. Employee motivation is the first variable and the business performance is the second variable. Okay, tell me what is the dependent variable and what is the independent variable? Now I need your support, yes, your interaction with the session. What is the dependent variable and what is the independent variable of this topic? Here I wrote research topic. Now simply you want to identify dependent variable and independent variable. Now remember, these are statistics, right? Not research methodology. Yes. What is the independent variable? Tell me. Hello. Ranga. Riham. Riaz. Safras. Hello. what is the independent variable? Now in here, I don't know whether your participation, we discussed about this several times, but no, I mean active participation, right? So I don't know whether you can understand or not. Or if you don't, I mean, respond, I don't know about your even understanding level, right? So that's the problem. Now, employee motivation is the independent variable and the business performance is the dependent variable. This is the independent and this is the dependent. It means the business performance of the organization depend on employee motivation. That's the idea of this topic. Now you are going to analyze the impact of employee motivation on business performance, whether then indirectly, whether there's a relationship between two variables. Now, by using a statistical tool like SPSS, you can identify the relationship between these two variables, whether there's a positive relationship between these two variables or negative relationship. Therefore, for that, you have to make a hypothesis. I think last week we discussed about hypothesis, kind of an assumption. Now, for this topic, you have to first develop hypothesis. Let's say hypothesis 1. There is a positive relationship between employee motivation and business performance. So this is kind of an assumption. At the beginning of your study, you want to develop these assumptions, and through your data analysis, you want to prove, or you want to, let's say you want to accept or you want to reject this assumption. If there's a positive relationship between employee motivation and business performance, if you identify a positive relationship through your data analysis, then you can accept this assumption. If you recognize, let's say, negative relationship between employee motivation and business performance through your data analysis, then you have to reject the previously developed hypothesis. So that's how you want to analyze your hypothesis. So that's actually later part of your research, data analysis part. So somehow through statistical package SPSS, you can analyze bivariate. I mean, you can conduct a bivariate analysis. Simply bivariate analysis means you are going to examine whether there's a relationship between two variables. Now, two variables means independent variable and dependent variable, right? So that's the idea of bivariate analysis. So as I mentioned earlier, bivariate analysis is used to test the relationship between two variables. There are many types of bivariate analysis. I think you studied these things under statistics, t-test, one-way analysis of variance, ANOVA, chi-square test, correlation. So these are statistical measures we can use to analyze bivariate. We can use these measures to for bivariate analysis, right? Now remember, bivariate means the relationship between two variables. So these are the statistical measures you can use for your data analysis to recognize the relationship between two variables. So easily you can use SPSS and conduct or can calculate all these things, right? So that's the idea. Now, I think you completed this part under statistic. Manually, you calculated, I think, t-test, one-way analysis of variance, chi-square test, correlation, etc. under your statistic component. Now, each and every one explained here. There, as I mentioned earlier, bivariate. Basically, t-test, we use t-test for our statistical analysis. Then the test the difference between two means. Difference between two means. That's the idea of t-test. Then dependent t-test and independent t-test. Then this is for dependent variable and this is for independent variable. Now, example, knowledge before and after training. This is dependent t-test. Independent test example, number of hours watching TV per day of male and female are different or not. Right? Now, this type of example dependent t-test. Knowledge before and after the training. Now you are going to evaluate the impact of training on, let's say, employee performance. Impact of training on employee performance. Right? If you want to analyze impact of training on employee performance, definitely you want to collect information about their employee performance or knowledge, or their knowledge before and after training. So for that, you can use t-test before training and after training. And then you can compare, mean value before and mean value after training. So that's how we do a dependent t-test. Independent t-test, there's no, correlation between two figures. Number of hours watching TV per day. Number of hours watching TV per day of males and females. Right? Now, the thing is, number of hours watching TV per day of male and female, there's no, relationship, because it's up to them, no? Right? So, number of hours watching TV per day of males and number of hours watching TV per day by female. So independent, highly independent. Because the male female impact එකක් නැහැ එතන, right? But the training, impact of training on, let's say, knowledge before and after, there's a connection, right? So that's how we identify dependent t-test and independent t-test. But don't worry about these dependent and independent. Somehow we can use t-test to identify the difference between two means, two set of data. Simply, that's the idea. Now here you have two set of data, knowledge before training and knowledge after training. And here also you have two data set, male watching time and female watching time. But the problem is, here you can identify interconnection, but here you can't identify interconnection between number of hours watching TV by males and number of hours watching TV by females, right? But here definitely you have a kind of a relationship, right? That's why we consider it as dependent t-test, right? So therefore, remember, t-test is the most important analytical tool, which is including SPSS, to test the difference between two means of two data sets. Right. Now here it explains in detail the study the difference between two means while two samples are related. Now there are two samples, they are highly correlated or they are highly related. Right? Now, example, if you like to know that students' knowledge about research method before and after the lecture series have changed or not. So you have, now remember, same sample, but you have two data sets. Let's say you considered the students of this class, there are, let's say, 20 students. So first you can collect information about research method, knowledge about research method before we start the lecture series. And then after completion of 15 weeks time, again, we can collect information about the students' knowledge about research method. So then we have two samples before and after research methodology lecture series, right? So that's the idea. Then, but the thing is, they are, highly correlated. Before and after depend before and after highly depend on your research methodology lecture series. So that's the thing. So easily you can analyze it by using this commands. If you have SPSS, then you have to consider this command list and the command is means simply windows available. So simply you have to click those commands or windows. So then you can have the what you call result, or let's say analytical result. Then analyze, compare means paired sample t-test. Here you have to select paired sample t-test and select before and after, click and continue. Then quickly you can identify result of your analysis as tables or as graphical presentation. Both modes available, graphical presentation and table method. So that's how you want to do it by using SPSS. So this is actually the paired sample statistic and paired sample test. If you conduct, let's say, 2 pairs, now here there are 2 pairs, before and after. Knowledge about research method before and after the lecture series. So simply you can identify the results. So that's how we do it, right? And here normally we use 95 confidence interval level. I think you have the idea about 90%, 95%, 90% skewness and all. But I don't explain them here because they are highly linked with statistics. You already studied, I think, confidence interval. Please go through your statistics note. And there, I think you studied this confidence interval level. Normally, we use 95% or 90% confidence interval level to conduct our statistical analysis for research methodology. Right. It is called significance level. So this is actually the result of SPSS, paired sample statistic. Now, simply you have to memorize the why we use paired sample statistic. Paired sample T statistic normally used to compare 2 samples and basically to identify difference between 2 means of 2 sample. But remember, 2 sample means before and after in most cases, right? And then study the difference between 2 means in the same sample, independent t-test. If you, now same sample means here, the number of observations can change. Now let's say in previous case, here before and after. Therefore, you have class there are 20 students, then you have information 20, let's say 20 items before, as well as you have 20 items after the completion of research method. The observations, they came at 20 for before and 20 observations for after, right? So that's the idea. And by methana, same sample, 2 means, now let's say 20, now in your classroom there are 20 students, then I want to analyze the research methodology knowledge of female and male. So female, male, 20, now altogether 20 students, then most probably I think male, let's say 5 or male 15 and female 5. So then the total is equal to 20. But in previous case, in both cases, you have 20 observations. But here you have total observations of 20. It can be divided into 2. So that's the simple idea behind 2 means in the same sample. For example, if you like to study that the profit of business by O-level entrepreneurs and A-level entrepreneurs are different or not, follow the following steps, right? So the 2 2 samples, same sample then you identify their O-level, their O-level knowledge and A-level entrepreneurial knowledge. It vadalesi mangana kiyapu example then simply this classroom there are 20 students, then you are going to analyze the research methodology knowledge of female students and male students. Then the total is 20, but male-female difference is there, right? So then by using SPS, you can analyze this one as well. But for you, I think normally we consider previous one for analytical part. So this is how we recognize that type of analysis through SPSS. Right. Then the next one is the ANOVA analysis using SPS. Now here we analyze the differences among three means. It means simply you have to use three data set and then you have three mean values. Then you can analyze the difference between among all those three set of data and then three mean values by using ANOVA table. Now that's only you want to memorize. If you like to know that there are any differences of profit among firm which are located in urban, rural, and estate. Then here you have to collect information about profitability of urban entities, rural entities, and estate entities separately. Then you can calculate three mean values for urban, rural, and estate. Then you have to compare all those three means. That's actually linked with ANOVA table. Then simply, I mean, you can quickly you can analyze this type of situation by using SPSS. No need to worry about your statistical knowledge, but you have to have an idea about the way, this mechanism, the using, commands, or let's say bars, right, or windows, right? So that's the idea. But for this, actually, definitely you need kind of a practical knowledge to conduct a data analysis by using SPSS. But here the purpose, the purpose of today's session, not to provide kind of an idea about analysis through SPSS, but here actually I provide some guidelines to you. These are actually advantages available in SPSS software or the SPSS package, right? Then easily you can analyze any type of data set by using SPSS, right? Yes, please. Any clarification? Iranga? So this is an example for the ANOVA table. So then the thing is, statisticians, they know the way, they know the idea about this table, and then you can get the help from a statistician, and then you can analyze this data table, right? So don't worry about that part. Now remember, you can use ANOVA table to analyze the difference among three means. It means by using three data sets, you can analyze the relationship among, let's say, urban, rural, and estate. Then the next important analytical test, which include in SPSS, chi-squared test. Now, chi-squared test is again to determine relationship between two variables, right? If you want, you can find the percentage distribution. If you want, you can find chi-squared value and contingency coefficient, right? So that's the thing. Then chi-squared test can calculate by using these commands, right? Now, let's say if you like to know the relationship between profit and educational level of businessmen, then you have to use this commands, and simply you can analyze the relationship between profit and the educational level of entrepreneurs, or let's say businessmen, right? So that's how we want to do. Then again, chi-square test basically used to evaluate the two variables. Right? So this is again a sample table, chi-square test table, right? Then the next one is the simple correlation using SPSS. Then again, you can simply analyze the relationship between two variables by using SPSS. Now, it is very easy, analyze, correlate, bivariate and all. Then you have to follow these commands to analyze the relationship between two variables. Right. Then the next one is multivariate analysis. Now here you can recognize more variables, right? Multivariable analysis used to explore links or connections among two or more variables. The most popular multivariable analysis in social sciences is to demonstrate the causality, casuality, and link between one or more variables, right? So that's the simple idea. Now I think you have the idea about multivariate analysis. For that, we normally use linear regression and multiple regression analysis. You already studied, I think, linear regression and multiple regression. So remember, basically we use these two techniques to analyze our data: linear regression analysis and multiple regression analysis. So this is how and this is actually very important analytical technique for, research component. If you consider undergraduate research activities, then basically 95% of students use linear regression or multiple regression analysis to analyze their data, right? So therefore, remember, please go through your linear regression note and multiple regression note, statistical note. Then you can have an idea about the meaning of these terms. And then simply you can conduct linear regression analysis as well as multiple regression analysis through SPSS package, right? Right. Then simple regression analysis. I think you have the idea about simple regression, linear model. Now, you can predict the effect of independent variable on dependent variable. That's what actually simple regression. I think you have the idea about the equation for the simple regression. Y equal A plus BX. I think you have the idea about this equation, isn't it? Y equal A plus BX. This is the actually equation for the simple regression model, and it explains the relationship between Y and X. Y is the dependent variable and X is the independent variable, right? So the Y depend on the X, beta factor, or the way it change. So A constant value. Likewise, we recognize this formula under simple regression model, right? So then in your statistic, I think, calculated the relationship between independent and dependent variable manually. But here you don't need to do it manually. Then simply you can use this software to calculate or to identify the impact of independent variable on dependent variable. Now here simply I use the topic, the effect of education level on profit. So there, the education level is dependent, Y, right? And the profit is the independent variable, X, right? Right. The most inferential statistical procedures in social science research are derived from the general family of statistical model called general linear model. And that is actually the relationship between inferential statistics and general linear model, right? But don't worry about general linear model. Now, this is actually the idea of, general linear model. It is called simple regression. And I think you have the idea about graphical presentation. This is the graphical presentation of simple regression. And as I mentioned earlier, this is the equation. Then normally simple A means the y-intercept, right? So from here, you can recognize the value of A, its constant value. This is the A. And then B simple means the slope of the line, delta y divided by delta x. That's how you want to calculate the slope of the line. Now, this is actually the equation, regression equation. This is actually, I already wrote it like this way. Y equal A plus bx, right? But now here it's similar to this one. Then y equal beta 0 plus beta 1x. Now beta 0 means this one, or y-intercept. Beta 1 means the slope of the line, delta y divided by delta x. So then this one called error factor, error term, can have kind of an error in each and every calculation. So we identify this as the simple regression model, right? You already studied this. Then under statistics, we recognize y as effect and x as cause. Then remember, basically, we consider cause-effect analysis, right? For quantitative mechanism, we use cause-effect analysis. Effect and cause need to identify. Then there's an impact from the cause to y, or let's say from x to y. And these two actually model estimates, beta 0 and beta 1. So remember, these are actually highly statistical terms, but the thing is, if you want to follow research methodology course successfully, definitely you need a statistical background. Now, remember, this is third year course. Then we assume that you completed statistics at your first year or second year. It means, I think I discussed this matter with Janaka, and he told that he gave exemptions for your chartered and SEMA and various other examinations. In chartered, SEMA and AT, you completed your statistical component. That therefore, we assume that you have sufficient knowledge about statistics to complete, your research part. There you studied all those measures, these things manually. Now here we are going to complete this by using a software, or let's say a statistical package. Therefore, it's not a matter, but the problem is basically you want to have an idea about the basic things. Statistics and simple regression done, and then you can't do it through SPS, or you can't analyze it by using SPS, or you can't interpret it. Now, you want to have an idea, you should have an idea about this equation. Then only you can interpret. Now, simply by using SPS, you can identify all the graphical presentations and all tables, data analysis result of all the analytical part. But the problem is, when you interpret your results, you have to have thorough idea about the statistics. Then only you can analyze them, right? So that's the importance. Now, remember, definitely you have to have idea about your statistics, or let's say, especially simple regression and multiple regression, right? Basically, I think you have to use simple regression plus multiple regression model for your data analytical part. So simple regression using SPS. Now, this is actually the commands. Then simply you want to enter your data to the Excel sheet, or SPSS sheet. Then you have to use this menu bar. Then you have to select analyze. Then there you can identify regression. And from that, you have to identify linear bar. Then dependent variables need to highlight. Independent variable need to identify. And then statistic, descriptive, and continue. So quickly you can identify, the result, tables plus graphical presentation, right? So that's how we want to use SPSS. Now, in each and every section, I gave what you call commands list. If you have SPSS package, then you can use this, and then you can identify the result, right? Then this is for simple regression. And as I mentioned earlier, multiple regression, again, very important, right? Multiple regression to predict a dependent variable by a group of independent variables. Now, here you can recognize dependent variable, but there are large number of independent variables. Now, this is actually the formula. Now, in previous formula, you had beta 0 and beta 1 only. It means y depend on x only. Now, in this case, you had only one independent variable, that is x. So, y depend on x, right? This is a constant value and this is called, this is actually x component, right? Or the x here, x variable, the dependent variable of x, right? Okay. So then y equal a plus bx, here you can recognize one variable, right? And definitely dependent and independent variable there. Multi-regression, now please check the equation. There are so many independent variables. So the y depend on all these independent variables. Now in here, you can recognize x1, x2, x3, up to xn. Can have large number of independent variables. Then the y or dependent variable depend on all those things. Now here, let's say number of hours watching TV per day by age, by education level, number of children. Then that's it. Now let's, you want to analyze the number of hours watching TV by, families. Daily watching hours you want to collect information about daily watching hours, right? Number of hours watching TV per day. So that's your target, right? Number of hours watching TV per day. Now you are going to collect information about this, or you are going to analyze this one. But the problem is the number of watching hours depend on, let's say, age, education level, number of children. It's in a family, if there's only one kid, then the number of watching hours a little bit lower than, let's say, in a family there are 5 or 6 kids. That's it, right? And again, number of hours watching hours again depend on age. Then let's say 25 to 45 age limit again, then number of watching hours little bit lower, because they would work no working hours very. But if in your family you have number of retired members, or let's say about 65 or 70 members, then they are watching hours, TV hours, TV watching hours very high. Then age, there's a huge impact to the number of hours watching TV per day. Then again, educational level also another factor which influence to the watching hours. So these are recognized as various factors. Then here you are going to analyze the impact of age, impact of education, impact of number of children on watching hours. So you consider, in here you consider 3 factors or 3 variables. Then here the dependent variable is number of hours watching TV. But independent variables, age, education, number of children, etc. Right? So therefore, we can use this type of regression model to analyze the relationship, or let's say impact, right? Then the regression analysis for any number of predictor variables called multi-regression or multiple regression analysis. Now, their linear model can have more than 2 predictors. To visualize a linear model with 2 predictors, imagine the 3 dimension with the outcome, let's say income, along vertical axis, and 3 predictors, say age, education, number of children, right? So likewise, you can analyze the relationship between each and every, relationship with the 3 variables or 4 more than that, right? So that is called multiple regression. But the problem is, if you want to analyze the relationship for multiple or multivariables manually, it's very difficult. But through SPSS, simply you can analyze the result of the relationship in between two or more variables. So this is how you want to conduct your analysis. Analysis part, analysis more code, or let's say command. Then regression, you have to select linear, and then you want to identify dependent and independent variables, statistics and descriptive statistics, then continue. So quickly you can collect the results of the multiple regression analysis. Then logic and probability regression, this is highly linked with more advanced research, not for undergraduate. But remember, simply you can consider binary values 0 or 1, as I explained earlier. Now, if you want to convert a figure or variable into a numerical value, then you can do it. Now, let's say you can't enter male, female to Excel sheet or SPSS. Male, female කියලා මේකට enter කරොත් interpret කරන්න බෑ. So you have to give numerical values for each and every variable. Then as I mentioned earlier, male කියන්නේ අපි කියනවා number 1. So there you want to enter number 1 to indicate male. Then female, you want to enter number 2 to indicate female. So that's how we, convert nominal variables into numerical variables. Numerical කරනවා. We have to convert qualitative features into quantitative. Now, male, female කියන්නේ qualitative features. Then with qualitative features, you can't conduct quantitative analysis. Right? Therefore, you want to convert all those qualitative features into quantitative features by providing or by allocating codes or by allocating numerical figures. That's how we do it. Now, Likert scale also, that type of mechanism, right? Now, you want to analyze your satisfaction level of satisfactory level of students regarding, let's say, statistic. Then satisfactory level of students for statistics or research method, and you can measure. What the satisfactory level measure කරන්න බෑ, but we can use let's say highly satisfied, average or moderate level of satisfaction, low level of satisfaction, no satisfaction. Then there are 5 scales. Then you can allocate 1, 2, 3, and 4 and 5 for each and every level. Then it is here you can say highly satisfied. Then satisfied. Then we can say average satisfaction. Then here we can say low satisfaction. And here we can say no satisfaction. So that's how you convert. We can convert, qualitative features into quantitative. Then easily you can analyze. That's how, right? Let's say there are 10 students, then 8 students mentioned highly satisfied. Then easily you can interpret it, right? Okay, so that's the idea of, logistic regression. Now can allocate, numbers. Sometimes we allocate 0 or 1 to recognize two variables in binary recognition. My binary variables, I think you have the idea, 0 or 1 කියන එක allocate කරනවා. Yes or no කියන එකට වගේ තමයි. So these are a little bit advanced regression analysis, but remember, for your study, you have to use either simple regression analysis or multivariable regression analysis. Now, these are actually some of the statistical measures, but remember, these are statistical measures you already studied under your statistics. But when you analyze your data, definitely you have to use a kind of a software. Then normally we recommend SPSS for your data analysis, because this is called statistical package for social sciences. Now remember, management also part of the social science. Therefore, management researchers or scholars, they highly depend on SPSS package, social sciences, statistical package for social sciences, right? So that's what actually I want to discuss about this now. From this, I mean, definitely you want to have an idea about the usage of or usefulness of SPSS, right? Please try to understand the usefulness of SPSS package for analyzing your data. There are several measures, and here I explain each and every measure, but you already, I mean, calculated these things under statistical, your statistics, right? Right. Okay. Now, I want to consider your research topics you uploaded to the system or the classroom. Can you see this screen? This is actually the classroom screen. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
We can see.
Yeah. Lakshita available or not? If not, I don't open it. Lakshita, you know, it's not available, ne? Lakshita. Participant list. No, Lakshita not available. So I don't discuss it. Now I want to discuss, I mean, topics uploaded by each and every student. So, if students not available, now this actually topics uploaded by Lakshita is not available, ne? So we'll consider available students. Lakshita, are you available? Because some, I mean, two participants mentioned, I mean, they are, I mean, the trademark of the laptop, Dell and Acer. I don't know who are the students. So please rename your, rename the participant list, right? Otherwise, I can't, I mean, recognize students, no? One logged as Acer and one logged as Dell. But I don't know the name of those two students. Lakshis are not available, isn't it? So I will move to Michelle. Michelle, are you available? Please quickly tell me. I want to discuss, I mean, the topics you uploaded to the classroom. Then Husni Mohammed, you are available, ne? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Available.
Yeah. Okay, now Husni Mohammed. Simply you uploaded, I think, a single topic, but I don't know whether. Is this the topic? Impact of best social media strategies to drive customer engagement and customer behavior in restaurant industry. Is this the topic?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now your one, you have 1, 2, 3 variables. So a little bit difficult, multivariable. Now the impact of best social media strategies. Now remember, this is the, what is the variable? Is it dependent or independent? Independent? Tell me now, please switch on your mic and tell me. Best social media strategies, is it dependent or independent? Now you have to have idea, no, you develop a topic, so definitely you want to have an idea, because I mentioned that you want to mention what is the dependent, what is the independent, and what is the action verb, and what is the unit of analysis, no? Please give me the idea. Yes?
Best social media is independent variable.
Yeah.
The one is
Customer engagement and customer behavior both are dependent, isn't it?
Yes.
So that's the thing. Then therefore you have, you recognize 3 variables. Then it is a little bit difficult, right? Now it's not, let's say if you want to analyze, use regression analysis, then you have to move to multiple regression, not to, I mean, simple regression, right? Now remember, better to, I mean, limit your topic, the impact of best social media strategies to drive neme. Now here you have to mention on, because impact, you are going to analyze the impact. So definitely you want to, now I think I can't correct this, isn't it? Edit karanna bane. So that's the thing. Okay, I will put a private. Can you see if you add?
Yes,
add
yes.
comment here. Yes. Then you have to write this like this way: impact of best social media strategies on, right? Now
Okay.
you have to select one: customer engagement or customer behavior. Do you, what now? Are you going to, conduct your research final? Are you going to complete your final dissertation on this topic?
No, no, no.
No. So, okay. Somehow you want to have an idea about developing a research title. Ne? So
Yes.
you want to identify dependent variable. So, sorry, independent variable. Now, impact of best social media strategies on, let's say, customer engagement or customer behavior. That's enough. If you select both, it will be difficult, right? So, let's say customer behavior. Is it
Okay.
okay? Right,
Okay.
right. Behavior. So, in restaurant industry, in hotels or restaurant industry, but restaurant industry, now the problem is when you, better to indicate or better to, what do you call, restrict your sample. Now, restaurant industry now in simply in Sri Lanka, isn't it?
Yes.
So how many restaurant in Sri Lanka? So can you collect information from all the customers? Now here you are group actually customers, isn't it?
Broad, I
Restaurant
think.
industry, not your unit of analysis customers in restaurant industry, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So how many customers in the entire restaurant industry? So it's a little bit difficult, no? So therefore, simply you can say, okay, restaurant customer behavior in restaurant industry in, let's say, in Canberra district. Right? අන්න ඒ වගේ minimize කරන්න ඕනේ. But it's not a perfect topic, right? District. Now, let's say here you have to mention your unit of analysis is customers of restaurant industry in Candy, right? So that's how you want to develop your topic. This is a good effort, but remember, try to identify now. This is the direct, what do you call, action verb, impact, right? So best social media strategies, what do you call, independent, customer behavior dependent, and unit of analysis is the let's say customers of restaurant industry in Kandy district, right? That's the unit of analysis. But now I think you have the idea about developing a topic. Now please identify your interesting subject or let's say discipline, and then try to develop a proper title to conduct your research. Now you have to start. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I think now you have a kind of an idea about developing a topic. And
Yes.
now please consult, let's say if you are willing, if you are, very, interest, let's say for HRM, then please contact your lecturer in charge lecturer, and then can develop a research topic, right? Or if you want, I can help. But later you have to ask from your human resource management or marketing management lecturer for various theories, right? Okay. So now you have to start, right? Now you can do it. Now you made a good effort, then it's okay, right? So the next one, Safras. Safras, are you available? Safras.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here. Yes.
Is this the study, I mean, you uploaded?
Yes, that's what I uploaded. That's a what do you call the
Studying the root cause for inefficiency in the public sector workforce. Now the problem is, how do you collect information from public sector workforce in Sri Lanka? Is it possible? How many public sector, I mean, what is the number of, workforce, employees? Is it
Yeah.
achievable target, or how do you collect information about public sector workforce, and how do you collect information from all, each and every member? Is it possible in Sri Lanka?
No, is it like can't we take one department or one
Yeah, that's the thing.
office?
That's what. Then you want to mention it. You have to, let's say now you have to add additional part to here. Let's say with special reference to this department, or with special reference to this, what do you call, ministry, right? So likewise, you have to, specify it. Otherwise, you can't conduct this type of research because you are, let's say, your sample public sector workforce in Sri Lanka. Public sector workforce in Sri Lanka, I think nearly millions ගානක් ඉන්නවා, right? So therefore better to indicate in Sri Lanka. එතකොට අපි මේකේ add කරන්නේ normally we Sri Lanka කියලා ලිව්වට පස්සේ Sri Lanka then no මේම දියනවා with special reference to, let's say, මොකක් හරි department එකක්, right? Education department or මොකක් හරි, හරි? Let's say education. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am, I understand. So,
Yeah.
but
Now,
ma'am,
I want to highlight weaknesses of your topic. Now, this is first weakness, right? When you write your topic, you want to clearly mention your, what do you call, unit of analysis. Now, here your unit of analysis not clear. Public sector workforce in Sri Lanka, huge population, right? So therefore, you want to clearly define your unit of analysis. Now, unit of analysis, let's say, education department workforce, right? Again, if you want, you can mention Kandy district. Then that's there. Now, tell me, what is the dependent variable and what is the independent variable? Studying is okay, right? Okay, studying can right, then this next one correct. Studying is the action verb, isn't it? Study or studying, then that is action verb. Now tell me, what is the independent variable and what is the dependent variable? Now that's what actually I asked under assignment. I gave this as a small assignment, So there I asked to develop a topic, identify dependent variable, identify independent variable, unit of analysis, and action verb. Now, what is the dependent variable and what is the independent variable? Now, remember, your topic is one variable research. I think at the beginning, first lecture series and second lecture series, I explained, 3 types of research: one variable, two variable, and multivariable. And at the same session, I mentioned that better to select 2 variable. One variable research, they are not, it's not highly a research. And you can't conduct even quantitative research. You have to conduct a qualitative research for one variable. And one variable basically linked with paper articles and all. Now, method a root case for inefficiency. Then simply you can write an essay to identify root cases for inefficiency in public sector workforce. Is it clear?
yes, ma'am.
You can't recognize independent and independent. The method and 2 variables.
Oh, I chose one.
This is one variable title, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Yeah. So definitely you want to recognize dependent and independent. Then only you can conduct, your research. Now, for this one, you can have kind of analytical report, but remember, it's not an applicable research for undergraduate level. That's the thing.
Okay, understand.
Right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
understand.
right. So,
So,
try to
ma'am,
develop- yeah.
just a small doubt. So if actually if someone wanted to do a research on this topic, is it not possible to do a research on this topic?
Definitely, you can do it, but the problem is, for this, you have to, narrow down the topic. As I mentioned, the public sector workforce in Sri Lanka, then it's very difficult to collect data from the entire workforce, isn't it?
Yeah, understand. Yes.
Yeah, so you have to conduct, mega survey.
But ma'am, so anyways, even if we take this education department, we are going to
Yeah.
take a sample and come to a
Then
conclusion, right?
that's why I mentioned, then definitely you have to mention it with special reference to the education department. Remember, your results, results of your study cannot generalize in that case. Why? This results applicable only for the education system in Sri Lanka. Is it clear?
Yes, yes.
If you consider education department for your analysis, and you are going to analyze the root cases for inefficiency in education department, isn't it? Can you generalize the results of the education sector or department into health department? They are root cause, different from education department, isn't it?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Yeah, then එතකොට education department එකේ මේ inefficiency එකට බලපාන හේතු same නෑනේ health department inefficiency එකට. It depends on the nature of the let's say employment as well. Agricultural sector එකේ ගත්තොත් or not agriculture department ගත්තොත් again public sector නේ. Then root cause for inefficiency in agriculture sector, public agriculture sector workforce completely different. So that's the thing. There are so many weaknesses including this topic. Public sector workforce kiwahama, then there are so many sectors again. Education sector, health sector, agricultural sector. Likewise, there are different type of workforce. So you have to recognize the difference between each and every. Then let's say public sector multiple regression, then need to recognize each and every sector, including the public sector workforce. It's a very difficult analysis, and even the data collection very difficult. Right? You can conduct, but remember, you have to specify your topic. Public sector workforce base definitely specify karanta. Better to consider education sector, better to consider health sector. Then for each and every sector, you can conduct a case study. Then definitely this type of topic, for this type of topic, you want to conduct case study. Case study can for each and every category. Right? Then
Okay,
you have to
understand.
conduct several case studies for each and every sector. Right?
Okay, okay.
Can do research, but remember, it's very difficult for undergraduates.
Okay.
Right?
Understand.
So therefore, please try to, develop a proper topic, right? And identify your interesting area and try to develop a researchable topic. Now, from this point onward, try to develop a topic for your research, right?
Okay.
Right. Then I asked Mohammed available or not? Is he available? No, neither.
I think he's not there. Yeah.
He is not. Then Riyaz Muhyiddin. Riyaz. No. Riyaz Muhyiddin not available. Supun available, ne? Supun?
Yeah.
Others also, pay your attention as well. Then you can easily recognize the way you want to develop a topic, right? Then you develop 3 topics. The relationship between cloud system and performance of small and medium enterprise. Impact of distance learning, online learning on level of proficiency of professional exams. Impact of prevailing economic system on national production of business. Now, what about third topic? Students tell me impact of prevailing economic system on national production of business in Sri Lanka. Is it, researchable at your level?
Difficult.
This is similar to the previous one, little bit difficult because prevailing economic system and national production of business in Sri Lanka, all the business need to consider, right? If you recognize specific business area, let's say tourism or let's say healthcare, then easy. The impact of current economic, let's say, crisis on national production of healthcare or hotel sector, then little bit easy, right? Therefore, third topic, you have to polish it, not up to required level. It means required level means cannot conduct a research by using the third topic. You have to, consider, or you have to narrow down it and need to, recognize, better to consider existing or current economic crisis on national production of business. It's a very vast area. So you have to narrow down it. And even your unit of analysis, again, very vast, cover huge area. Business in Sri Lanka, unit of analysis, but it's a huge area, right? So you want to specify your unit of analysis. Then second one, impact of distance learning on level of proficiency of professional exams. Yeah. Then Supun, tell me, what is the independent variable? Okay, what is the dependent variable?
Level of proficiency.
Level of proficiency. Proficiency, or let's say level of performance, better, right? Performance, level or performance of professional exams. Students, right? So, performance level, performances, right? Performances, dependent variables. Then what is the unit of analysis?
Professional exam students.
Professional exam students for professional correct term professional students who follow professional courses near all the exams. And then better to identify correct term for that, right? Professional exam students term
Right.
Yeah, then you have to identify suitable term to define unit of analysis. Professional students who follow topic professional students who follow professional exams in Sri Lanka. Professional exams, there are a large number of professional exams. Then again, you have to specify, let's say, with special reference to CA chartered students, students, again, specify. Then that is okay. Unit of analysis need to narrow down and need to define it clearly. Level of proficiency, better to use performance, level of performance, right? Then that is dependent variable. Now, what is your independent variable? Distance learning?
Yeah.
Oh, independent. But the thing is, distance learning mechanism, strategies Nikama distance learning distance learning on the performance of professional exams. Mechanism distance learning mode Moodle Moodle method. right? Then impact of distance learning strategies. So distance learning, there are so many strategies for distance education, online learning.
Yeah.
So impact of distance learning strategies on the educational performance of professional exam students. එතන තමයි පොඩ්ඩක් define කරන්නේ. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now here impact of distance education strategies or strategies කියන්නත් පුළුවන් නැත්නම් methods කියලාත් කියන්න පුළුවන්. හරි? strategies on educational performances of or among how do you define unit of analyze professional exam students? Now simply university students keyword easy, right? Then university students keyword then very simple.
Okay.
But you can select professional exam students, but you have to define it clearly, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It is
Then-
better university student.
Yeah, better. Or then again, you have to identify whether state universities or private universities. Now, state universities also, they have online distance learning system, right? Few universities, they have online degrees.
අපි university එක නම් කරොත් ප්‍රශ්නද?
Oh, it's
madam?
okay. Yeah, it's okay. Then the problem is now you are target students, and then you can collect information from those students. But the thing is, how do you collect information about students who follow, let's say, university in here, Peradeniya, we have BB online, right? So you want to collect the database. Students register line list එක ගන්න ඕනේ. I don't know whether you can collect it from the university, but if you make a request, most probably they will provide their detail, right?
Oh, I can get from university, Jayawardhanapura.
Yeah,
Colombo.
Jayawardhanapura, I don't know whether Jayawardhanapura, they have online, but Kelaniya and Peradeniya we have. I don't know Chapura, whether they have online degree or not.
I think master student, master or MBO is there.
Better to check it, right? But remember, this is a researchable topic. Even you can identify large number of published research from this topic as well. Now the thing is, when you develop a research topic, you have to base on existing literature, otherwise you can't complete your dissertation. Remember, you need to select a topic with literature. If not, if sufficient literature not available, then you can't conduct your research. Literature can need past research publications from, for the same topic. Same can as it is when the not come on. Now let's say impact of distance learning or distance education on educational performance of university undergraduates research. So you can use those research papers as literature for your research, right? So I think for previous students also, I think they are here. Please, after developing your research, please check sites නැත්නම් අපිට online අපිට පුළුවන් check කරන්න, simply use Google search and check whether past research papers available for the topic or not. As it is topic when no, but relevant topics තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. So you have to collect those research articles, at least 10 to 15 research articles need for undergraduate level, right? Are you support?
Okay.
Right, main topic එක නම් තියෙනවා literature, and it's a researchable topic. And the relationship between cloud system and performance of small and medium enterprises in Sri Lanka. Now, the problem in small and medium enterprises in Sri Lanka, this is the unit of analysis, but the problem is, again, a very vast area, isn't it?
Yes.
Then you have to, let's say, small and medium enterprises in Kandy district, a particular area, right? or small
Yes.
and medium enterprises in rural area.
Yeah.
Because the cloud system on performance of the small and medium enterprises in rural area, urban area, and state different, ne?
Yes.
So you can, you can't, even, provide a general idea for all the small and medium enterprises. So better to consider, let's say, urban, small and medium, then think about that, right? You have to specify small and medium enterprises. Relationship කියන එකට වඩා අපි යන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාට relationship කියන්නේ action verb එකක්ද? Is it an action verb?
No.
No. So you have to use, let's say, impact or effect or the study then මෙහෙම ගන්නවා study the impact of cloud system on performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
The impact of cloud system on performance. But better to consider performance as well. Then make a cloud system තමයි cloud system independent, right? Is it okay?
Yes.
Performance dependent, isn't it?
Yeah.
The performance, now remember, performance in a business enterprise, we can recognize two types of performance. Classify කරන්න පුළුවන් business performance, එහෙම නැත්නම් financial performance, or sometimes overall performance, or with එක classifications, So please indicate it, right? Whether then performance generally performance include both financial and non-financial performance. Is it clear?
Yes.
දැන් perform කරනවා කොහාම දැන් ඔයාලත් perform කරනකොට අපේ performance උත් අපිට financial performance උත් තියෙන්න පුළුවන් non financial වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් නේ. ඒතර business එක performance වර්ග දෙකයි. Financial performance and business performance කියලා දෙක යනවා. Business performance කිව්වම financial plus non financial දෙකම යනවා ඒකයි. So when you develop a topic, specify variables. So performance එක දැම්මොත් generally ඔක්කොම. Better to indicate whether it's finance or business or මොනවා හරි එහෙම දාන්න. And relationship between කියලා ගන්න එපා, action verb එකක් දාන්න. Impact of cloud system on, let's say, business performance. Impact of cloud system on financial performance of small and medium enterprises, or let's say urban, or better to consider kalam, or මෙහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් industrial zone එක. ඒ වගේ නෑනේ small and medium. Right? So better to identify small and medium enterprise from a specific area. So those are, weaknesses of your topics. But your effort very good, right? Okay, then try to understand, try to develop a good topic for you.
One thing, madam, number 2.
Yeah.
Subject IT
Sorry?
My voice is not coming.
Yeah.
Number 2, subject area එක HR
Subject area එක එන්නේ මේක distance learning IT එක්කනේ යන්නේ.
IT.
IT පැත්තටනේ Moodle එක එහෙම ගණනේ බලන්න ඕන. Then Moodle and the strategies including the distance learning ඒ පැත්ත IT ඒ කොටස යනවා ටිකක්. නමුත් when considering, sorry?
Theory එක සාමාන්‍ය
Theory එක මේක education වලට යන්නේ. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Then level of proficiency කියනකොට educational proficiency නේ දැන් ඔයා බලන්න යන්නේ නේ. Performances ඔක්කොම education category එකට යන්නේ.
මේක HR side එකකින් ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ.
HR side එකට ගියොත් මොකද්ද?
Motivation side එකකින් ගන්න.
Distance learning. Then you have to consider level of proficiency නෙවෙයි. Better to consider ඒ වගේ පැත්තක් student motivation හරි ඒ වගේ පැත්තක් ගන්න.
හරි.
එතකොට හරියන්නේ නේද? Distance learning is a motivating factor for professional exam students. ඒ වගේ they are highly motivated නැද්ද කියන්නේ distance education එක නිසා? Any you can connect to any discipline. හරි දැන් marketing පැත්තට ඕන නම් connect කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන වචනයක්ද? professional bodies වලට පුළුවන් business learning කොහොමද මේ market කරන්න කියලා ගන්න. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ එක පැති වලට යන්න පුළුවන් හරි. But better to check now you can polish this topic කොහොමද දන්නවද ඔයා කරන්න ඕන. දැන් ඔයා මේ Google search කරන්න.
Right.
Then distance impact of distance learning on let's say performance හරි මේ මොනවද අර මං කිව්වේ දැන් satisfaction හරි කියලා බලන්නකො ගහලා එතකොට ගොඩ research papers එනවා. ඒතර ඔයාට suitable විදිහට topic එක හදා ගන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා දිහා බලන්න.
Right.
Right? Okay. දැන් ආයි කවුද ඉන්නේ? කවුද අපි කතා කරපු නැති අය සහ දාලා තියෙන අය සුපුන් හරි ජනත් ඉන්නවද? ඉන්නෝනේ. ජනත් growth of the usage of digital banking channels along with the pandemic situation of commercial. දැන් මට කියන්නකො direction verb එකක් නැහැ. අන්න ඒකයි මේකේ තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නේ. මොකද්ද ඔයා measure කරන්න යන්නේ? direction verb එකක් නැත්තම් measuring කියන එක අමාරුයි. Now who is this student? Janath?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the problem is first one, there's no directional verb. Let's say impact of digital banking channels on the growth of the commercial bank.
No, I thought the growth of the usage, it means that
usage
before
of
the pandemic and after the pandemic.
Then the impact of growth of the digital banking channels neda.
Yes.
Growth of the usage of digital banking.
Yes.
Growth කියලා ගන්න එපා. එහෙමනම් level of usage of digital banking channels, isn't it?
Okay. Okay.
There is growth or decline kamak nane level of usage of digital banking channels. For what? අන්න ඒකයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. දැන් ඔයාට okay level of usage of digital banking channel that is independent, right?
My dependent was that before the pandemic and during the pandemic.
මොකේද හරි before the and after the pandemic for what? මොකකට හරි බලපාන්න එපා.
That what effects on can මම බැලුවේ බලපෑම තියෙන්නේ commercial bank එකේ usage එක. ඒ කියන්නේ users ලා ගන්න.
ඒක අන්න ඒක කියන්න ඕනේ. ඔයාගේ topic එක ඒක නෑනේ. කියලා නෑ නේද? Level of digital banking channels. Level of usage. Level of usage of digital banking channels for what? මොකකටද කිව්වේ? On
මම mean කරේ commercial bank එකේ තියෙන digital banking channels එතකොට කොහොමද change උනේ නැත්නම් grow උනේ
එතකොට ඒක මොකක්වත් impact එකක් හොයන්නේ නැහැනේ දැන් දැන් මම මෙතෙන්ට දානවා impact හරි
okay
impact of level of usage of digital banking channels on what customer satisfaction එහෙම නැත්නම් on performances of
මම දැන් බැලුවේ impact of pandemic situation on growth of digital banking channels කියලා usage of ඒ කියන්නේ මේ pandemic එක කොහොමද effect උනේ කියලා තමයි මම බැලුවේ කරන්න නෙමෙයි just as a topic කියන්නේ pandemic
ගොඩක් වෙලාවට දැන් pandemic එක කොහොමද digital banking වලට influence වුණානේ ඔය ඒක හරි දැන් මෙහෙමකුත් තියෙනවා අනික දැන් මේ වෙනකොට දැන් ඔක්කොටම අපි කියන්නේ don't use pandemic දැන් කියලා. මොකද දැන් it's already ඉවරනේ නේද? ඕවනේ ඇත්තටම කිව්වොත් before 2 years වගේනේ right? එතකොට අර රිසර්ච් එකට අපි යනකොට යන්න ඕනේ ටිකක් අර රීසන්ට් එකක් නැත්නම් රීසන්ට් ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එකක් නැත්නම් ongoing issue එකක් ඒ වගේ එකක් පැන්ඩමික් එකේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා තමයි නමුත් now here the impact of pandemic on digital banking වගේ දෙයක් තමයි ඔයා කියන්නේ දැන් ඔයාට මේ result එක let's say you found something දැන් මේක at the end of your analysis you want to find something is it or I mean whether those findings important for the current environment or not දැන් වැඩක් වෙයිද කියන එක තියෙනවා commercial bank එකකටවත් වැඩක් තියෙයිද දැන් මේ result එක කියන ප්‍රශ්නේනෝනේ because now pandemic over no so that's the thing research topic එක අසල අනිත් එක බලන්න ඕනේ whether is applicable for the current situation right this is actually a researchable topic but the importance of the topic is very low. Now, the thing is, in a separate section, you want to mention significance of your research. Significance means the importance. Importance for, let's say, the particular unit, commercial bank, importance for the economy, importance for, let's say, students, importance for investors. Likewise, you want to mention the significance of the particular study. At least, it should important to the particular unit. commercial bank එක ඔයාගේ result එක ඉල්ලයිද කියලා ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙනවා. Is it clear?
Yes, madam.
ඔව්. එතකොට අනිත් එක effect of the fuel price
ඒ වගේම කතාවක් තමයි.
ඔව් ඒක තමයි. ඕක දැන් crisis එක ඉවරයිනේ. දැන් වැඩක් නැහැ.
third එකේ තමයි මම හිතන්නේ
government tighten monetary policy on controlling the hyperinflation in Sri Lanka. Impact of government tighten policy කියන එක නැතුව impact of monetary policy on controlling the hyperinflation. මොකද මේක tighten නැද්ද කියන එක අනුව ඔයා decide කරන්න ඕනේ later. ඒක analysis part එකේදී tighten and soft කියන දෙකම අරගන්න පුළුවන්.
Okay.
Right, impact of monetary policy on controlling the hyperinflation or hyperinflation කතාව නැතුණත් කමන්නේ impact of monetary policy on inflation in Sri Lanka. Right?
Okay.
Control කරන එක අපි කියන්න ඕනේ suggestions දෙන්නේ control කරන්න then at the end you want to provide recommendation to control it.
Yes.
Right? So
ඒකෙදී තමයි මට කියන්න පුළුවන් tighten monetary policy එකද.
Oh, then simply when you develop topic impact of monetary policy on inflation. Here you no need here in your topic you no need to mention hyperinflation, right? There at the analysis part you can mention then because of let's say loose monetary policy
now
we
be taken as a variable, no?
Yeah,
Hyperinflation.
Yeah. Now hyperinflation variable can simply inflation is the dependent variable, right? Monetary policy is the independent. Then
Yeah, hyperinflation would be a significant change, no?
Oh,
but,
another actually because of the monetary weakness of the monetary policy.
Yes, got
Yeah.
it.
So therefore then here simply impact of monetary policy on inflation.
Okay, man.
Right? එතකොට මේක with in Sri Lankan economy නැත්තම් with special reference to the Sri Lankan economy. Then later you can identify required dependent and independent. මොකද monetary policy කිව්වහම there are so many policies, isn't it? So you can't consider all those monetary policies which influence the inflation. So then when you select constructs or variables, you can limit variables, right? Then later you can do it. But this is kind of a researchable topic, highly linked with economy. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Yeah.
Please try to develop a proper topic based on this or another, right?
Okay, madam.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Then I කවුද ඉන්නේ කතා කරන්න කතා කරපු නැති අය සුපුන් හරි ජනත් කතා කරා මොහොමඩ් රිහාම් අප්ලෝඩ් කරාද answers Priyas. අනිත් අය කවුරුත් මේකේ answers upload කරලා නැහැ නේද? ඉන්න අය කවුරු හරි කතා කරන්න මෙතන ඉන්නවනම් කියනවා Safras, did you upload? Yes, we discuss it now. Safras, okay. Muhammad Riham. Hello. Muhammad. නෑ නේද? අනිත් අය නැත්තම් මේ මට session එක ඉවර කරන්න පුළුවන්. Otherwise මේ yes. Now the thing is, please upload the your topic and all the required information. Then only I can discuss, right? Impact on the job training on the impact on the impact of job training on employee performance. At Cinnamon Hotel Maldives sector. Now here simply you have to say hotel sector, right? Later you can define it as Cinnamon Hotel, but when you write the topic, don't write the name of the particular hotel. Then impact of job training on employee performance in hotel sector in Maldives, right? Impact of job training on employee performance. Is it okay? Please write down in, I don't know, I can't type it. Message then I can't comment, even I can't allocate marks. So that's why I asked to upload it, right? Please do it. Impact of job training or the training, impact of training and development on employee performance in hotel sector in Maldives, right? Then later you can identify specific areas, Cinnamon hotels in Maldives, so you can conduct. Then it's highly linked with HRN, so you can do it. There are so many research papers available, past papers. Please develop it properly, polish it, and then upload the required information to the site, right? එරංගට අපි කතා කරන්නේ නේද එරංග? Yes. And others, I think Husni Mohammed not yet uploaded. No, we discussed. Husni, okay. Janat discussed. Safras, I don't know whether you discussed. Eranga discussed. Safras didn't discuss, isn't it?
Yes, we discussed.
All right,
ma'am.
all of you, okay. Ne? Please quickly develop your researchable topic and check whether past research available. Especially go through the Google and Google or any other, sites, and especially if you can go to Emerald or Science Direct, there are so many research papers. So simply you can check Google and then check whether past research papers available for your topic, same type of, similar type of research. So it means if similar type of research available, it means your topic researchable, right? So that's it. Remember, as I mentioned at the beginning, I think at this first and second sessions, undergraduate dissertation highly, link with empirical results. Empirical results can past research results. So need to identify at least past 10 or 15 research papers, and then only you can conduct your dissertation or your research, right? So that's all. So with that, I will finish today's session. Thank you.